I do know about my role here at Phenom. It is about connecting people. It's about connecting great people called to the people business together to talk about how we do what we do in the most innovative ways possible. It's a pretty cool title, Chief Evangelist. And certainly part of that is because I really truly believe in the intersection between people and technology. And when you keep humans in the loop, not only the end product of how we're trying to actually inspire people to find their roles and to live their best lives, because that's what occupations do, doesn't it? It allows people to fuel their dreams and their passions. I love doing that. The other part of the chief evangelism, though, is you have to actually believe in what you're talking about. And my journey with Phenom started not a little over a year ago as the chief evangelist and the CHRO here. It started as a customer. Some of you know that story, some of you don't, but I was the CHRO, Chief Learning Officer at Lifetime, the Healthy Way of Life company. Maybe you're a member. If you are, give a whoop. So, but I worked there for many, many years, and you know how it is. When you're in the people business and at Lifetime, we had massive growth. We had about 25,000 people that we needed to hire every year, and part of that was our new growth on the front end. We were growing by 10 and 12% year over year, and so we were hiring somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 new employees just to fill our new buildings so that we could serve our member. Then on the backside, we had 9,000 people that we needed to hire seasonally because we had outdoor bistros and pools. We had to hire certified lifeguards and kids camps that had to be certified by state to make sure that everything was safe and awesome and friendly all summer long. And we had to do that every single year. We needed predictability. We didn't have any. And then we had to backfill. We had about 65, 70% of our team members were part-time. So you had to backfill constantly to make sure that you were keeping the company rolling and growing. People mattered at Lifetime. And you know the story, right? The narrative back in the day, if we go backwards just a bit, is that we would actually use the big aggregators. Do you remember the big aggregating machines? You'd throw your job and post it, and you'd post and pray. That's right. We'd post and pray, and that worked for a while, but just for a while. And then you had the physical job fairs. You remember those? Now, some of us still do them, but we also do them virtually. But you did the job fairs. You're like, okay, what place are you going to take down? Are we going to have a little food and drinks? And how many people do you think are going to come? And it became just really complex, and your ROI was really limited. Then we were able to move forward where we started to see this idea of personalization. We started to actually be able to have control of our own narrative. And at Lifetime, that was really important, and it's important for you. We wanted control of our own narrative. We wanted control of our own message. And so as the Chief Learning Officer and the CHRO at Lifetime, I was so incredibly frustrated because I could not find a solution that allowed me to actually pull all of the pieces of the vision that I had with my team to actually be able to tell our story and be in control of the narrative and be able to control the postings and be able to personalize the story so people knew that Lifetime was the best place they could ever possibly work. That's frustrating. So I built the Frankenstein monster, the HR tech stack. You know what I'm talking about? You cobble together all of these different technologies and you hope that it works, and it kind of works, but it kind of doesn't, right? It looks like a person, it kind of walks like a person, but at the end of the day, the data's all messed up and it breaks and it doesn't work. And finally, about 7, 8 years ago, I heard about this company called Phenom, brought them in. My team and I, we did the full analysis, compared them to others, and then we had the final pitch where Phenom came to our offices, and I walked into a big boardroom. We had lots of people from both sides in there, and I started by saying, thank you for coming. We're in the final steps of this. Can you just start by telling us again why you exist? And I heard this voice at the end of the table, and it was Mahi. And he said, it's very simple. We exist for one purpose and one purpose only. We want to help 1 billion people get the right job. And then I got it. A purpose-driven organization. We're going to talk about purpose in just a few minutes. That was critical to me. And so we went through it, and we built, and we partnered, and we pushed, and we broke, and then we rebuilt again with Phenom. And we've been on the Phenom platform at Lifetime now for almost 8 years. It was a highly effective tool for us to grow at scale. That's my journey, because then at the time that I was ready to transition, I had the opportunity to come into Phenom and be on this side of the business. And here's the goal of this whole entire thing, is that I can be an advocate for all of us, because it's us, right? I am a talent. I mean, you can give me a little whoop if this makes sense to you. I am a talent practitioner that has been thrust in the world of technology because it's what works. Can I get a whoop? I mean, did we decide that we wanted to use technology? No, we actually go to where the solution is. That's what we do. I am a passionate people leader who had to be thrust and compelled to look at AI, because AI is what's going to work for us. And so we're in this boat together, and so I am that executive advocate for you here at Phenom, as much as I am telling the story of Phenom, because I believe this intelligent talent experience is the way to go. Building from the perspective of experience, not even data, although data is awesome, and you heard Levon talk about that earlier today. Doing it from the perspective of experience, in an experience culture where everything we want honed to us, personalized to us, is the only way, I believe, to go. So when we talk about these things, it's important for us to frame that, and I am really excited to be here to be able to actually advocate and to support and to push the organization to be the best possible organization it can be. So I've got a quick personal story. I had a grandma who was very close to me. Her name was Grandma Rose, and my Grandma Rose had, I think estimated like 40 grandchildren, like 29 like great-grandchildren. My Grandma Rose was a complete connector. She was a fabulous grandma. She never missed a birthday of anybody. And when we first started hearing from our grandma, it was all written cards, right? And then we switched to email, and we started getting emails. She had everybody's email, and you'd always get a personal note from Grandma Rose. It was the coolest thing. Well, my grandma had her 93rd birthday. In fact, her birthday is on April 1st. She would have been 103 this coming April, on April 1st. I'm not kidding either. And so she called my mom at 93. Hey, Judy, when you come see me, I want you to help me buy this thing called a mobile phone, and I want to learn how to text. And my mom said to me later, she said, I looked at Mom and said, Mom, why do you want to learn how to text? And my grandma said to her, she said, you know, I used to write notes to my grandkids and great-grandkids. Then I emailed, but I'm realizing they're not email anymore. So I want to learn how to text because that's where my kids are, and I see the wisdom in it. I was like, whoa. I mean, that blew me away. My grandma was always one of those people. Like, she always had the bigger picture in mind. But more than anything, at 93, I saw this person be flexible, open to change, and really ready to learn to go to where her people were. Because why? She saw the wisdom in it. And I think that's what we're looking for, right? As practitioners, as passionate people leaders, we're looking for the wisdom in what we're doing. That's what we're doing. And we know that what we did before isn't as effective as what we can do. We are always looking to constantly improve. So what I'll tell you then is, I want you to understand that tonight, I'll make this statement. We didn't come this far to only come this far. I love that, and that's a quote that's been used, across you find memes about it all the time, yet it's very practical to us. We didn't come this far to only come this far. We have so much work to do, and our world is in transition. And so where do companies look? Where do people look? They look for us to be that proactive business partner that's keeping people first. And that's really exciting. So my invitation to you then is to keep that in mind as you're sitting in some of these sessions. I know these days can get long. I've been there. And I want to encourage you to continue to sharpen the saw and to see where you can take your organizations. I was talking to an analyst. I actually taped a podcast with him earlier yesterday morning. And I was talking to him. I said, all right, we're going to have 1,400 people here, most of them clients and partners of Phenom. Some of them are prospects. They're looking at Phenom, kicking the tires hard. Talk to me and tell me, who are the people that are in this room? Like, who are they in the industry? He said, oh, that's easy. He said, these are the early adopters. the people that are getting the experience culture in HR, the people that are using AI, the people that are using this platform, he said, I'll give you an analogy. He said, imagine that you're in a foot race and you are already started and you're running. The people that are here at I Am Phenom, that are using the platform, considering to use the platform, are so far ahead of those who are not thinking about it that the other people could run at 2 times the speed and never catch up. So congratulations, we are the innovators, and what got us here isn't going to get us further, right? We didn't come this far to only come this far. So when we think about that, I've got a few phrases here. Maybe you can use your fingers and toes, but I got a few phrases here, and I want you to walk through them. I'll name them really quick, and just kind of count the ones that you relate to. Passion to highlight the power of human capital. Love that one. Love to help people find and get the right job. I am a talent ally. I consider myself an HR enthusiast and a business executive. Transforming talent acquisition, helping growing companies build amazing teams. Passion to challenge, passion for cultivating cultures that help people thrive and want to change people's lives for the better. How many of them? Both hands? Probably. I love these, and where I got them is I got them from you. I went to some of our biggest clients, I went to some of the people that I know, I went to your LinkedIn, and I looked at how you talk and think about your work. And what I got from this is that we do transformational work, that we have a passion to make that type of work challenging, but also have great outcomes in organizations. And we're unrelenting. I see an unrelentingness to that. We didn't come this far to only come this far. So hopefully, maybe when you go back on your LinkedIn, you'll find out that I actually was on your LinkedIn and I took this from you. But at the end of the day, I think probably these are very common things to people in the room. And I think it also correlates to this idea of my personal mission, my personal vision for what I want to do professionally, matching up with the purpose-driven organizations that I want to partner with. I don't want a vendor relationship. I was actually talking to one of our clients last night. I don't want a vendor relationship. I want a partner relationship. And that ultimately is the goal. Helping 1 billion people find the right job is a pretty awesome vision. Very common, very similar to what I saw as I looked at LinkedIn. So the last couple things before we get to our awards tonight, because the last thing we're going to do is we're going to award some of our just champion partners that have done some amazing work in their companies, and we're going to do that here in just a few minutes. But before that, I wanted to actually share with you kind of a couple of ideas. And you're going to hear more about this year. And I really call it the 3 Ps, and I've talked to a lot of people about it, and none of these words are going to be a surprise to you. Purpose, people, process. Are these cool words? Yeah, they're actually pretty cool. I've built a whole entire business strategy and run those strategies for years in organizations. But I love the idea of purpose, and I think if you've been and you've got your finger on the pulse, purpose and the idea of purpose is changing pretty radically. What we know now is the new talent economy is real. We know now that people are looking for more transparency than ever before. We know that our candidates and our highly sought after talent are looking for a lot of definition about who we are as a company, what we stand for, more than just bottom line, although bottom line is incredibly important. But we also know that individuals are starting to actually align and say, I want to work for a company that I feel excited about what they do and the impact they're making in my local area, in the world, whatever that footprint is. So we know that purpose is now becoming even more important than just a mission statement for our organization, but really as we start to personalize the message to the people around us. So finally then, when we think about purpose, there's an individual purpose, then there's the divisional purpose, and then there's the organizational purpose. So making sure that we've got alignment there and that our actual comments and our ideas and our statements and how we're talking about our jobs match and align, because I think we have a talent organization, or excuse me, a group of talented individuals out there that are saying we want more around purpose. We're going to talk and write about a lot of that this year. The other piece is people, and certainly this week it's all about people. In fact, it's all about the talent, the intelligent talent experience. We're so hyper-focused on our talent, and we need to be, because that's where the business is. And that intelligent talent experience starts in the candidate experience, but it goes into the employee experience. But something that we're starting to focus on at Phenom, and again, I'll be writing and talking a lot about this year, is our leaders. Mahi said it this morning, that when we have data and we connect that with our talent, man, something magic happens. And certainly with the power of AI, data is more present and ready to be used than ever before. But I believe that the crux of all of that is our leaders. Our leaders knowing how to engage not only with their people, but with the data that makes that entire journey come alive and give them an opportunity to encourage, grow, and to support their career growth. So what we need to start to think about is, as we think about learning and development, we're looking so often in skills and all of the work that we're doing with our frontline talent, but thinking about our leaders is going to be critical if we want to pull the data and that talent journey together and make sure that our leaders are capable and ready to have this new talent economy conversation with the people that they serve every day as leaders in your organization. And then finally, process. Process is something that we're really passionate about at Phenom, because we know that the process helps everything go. Disciplined, systematic, predictable process. I never thought when I was younger, listening to Jesse's Girl, that I was going to be excited about process. But I certainly am excited about process. When things are predictable, we now know that we're going to be able to get the outcome we want in the way that we want it. But more than that, we also know that it's about change management. Oftentimes, when we have frustration with new platforms, whether it's a Phenom platform or a new smartphone like my grandma had, what we find is it's not necessarily the platform that's failing us, we're failing ourselves, because we have not moved through the change management process to change our own systems and the way that we're thinking. And in my program in organizational psychology, I had a fabulous professor. His name was Warner Burke, and just an absolute pillar in the industry of organizational psychology. And one of his famous quotes it's a simple quote, is participation. Participation fuels commitment. When you get people participating in the process and helping author the process, then you get that commitment in small and large organizations. And so change management is a big piece of this, as well as that technology. Because what we know is that we didn't come this far to only come this far. So 2 weeks ago, I had a chance to go to South by Southwest. Great event. I've never been. I got invited to speak, and they always have lots of themes. It's movies and music. No, I did not sing Jesse's Girl, but there's music, there's movies, there's all sorts of great tech that's being launched there, and there's also a bunch of tracks, and one of the tracks was the future of work, and I was invited to speak, and the title of my talk, and I feel like I actually advocated and talked on all of our behalves as a practitioner, is AI doesn't hire talent, people do. People hire talent. And what was interesting is that when you're on the street in Austin, walking from one venue to the other, there's just hundreds of people around, and you can hear conversations going on. And certainly the big conversation was the power of AI and how it's shaping the way that we're doing our work. And I had a very large group in my seminar, and I asked the question, how many of you are HR practitioners doing something in talent? And about a third of the room raised their hand. And then I said, well, how many of you are here because you're just concerned and want to seek understanding about just what's going on with AI? And everybody raised their hand. So we're all in this together, and what I talked about is this idea is that we cannot let our processes move untethered. Our processes have to have a guiding hand, And when we decide that we are going to activate and have that guiding hand, that is the critical nature of who we are and how we'll actually move forward in this new world, this new talent economy with new pressures that maybe we haven't seen this way before. So just like my grandma, who saw the wisdom in it, the idea of us deciding that we're going to move forward, that we're going to continue to push, and as practitioners, we are going to be proactive in moving that, whatever that ball is, right? We're moving it forward, and that's the challenge that we have. So as we move on into tonight, I want you to know, just like the analyst said, you're ahead in the race because you're in the room. Well, we don't want to rest on our laurels. We actually want to continue to say, what's the new marker for me that I'm shooting for? And certainly I want to invite you to invite me into that process. I would love to be an advocate and a support for you as you're making those choices. Because what we do know is that the intelligent talent experience is an experience that we have in multiple places of our lives every single day. And I certainly know that I want it in my kids' lives, my adult children who are in the process of looking for work, who are in that game that differently than me. And I'm watching it happen, and I see what they're looking for, and I'm like, yep, that's exactly where we need to be. What's the experience that I want for them individually? What experience do I want with the people that are in that next concentric circle, in that next concentric circle? But what we do know is this, is that purpose, people, and process can be the game that helps us pull that whole strategy together.